You're tuned to Expat Corner, an insight into the very stories that will make your experience in Vietnam worthwhile. We're going to start the show today by a special story about life after war. You know, it's been about 40 years since the American war in Vietnam ended, but the healing process is still underway. In a bid to foster that process, the Habitat for Humanity International, an NGO that has 34 years of experience in 80 countries around the world, has brought 31 veterans and members of their families to Vietnam to build houses for the poor here. This has really been a meaningful activity because the veterans and members of their families are helping rebuild life in the country where they used to destroy. The American war in Vietnam is sorrow that some American veterans never want to recall. They were changed forever by witnessing the brutality and destruction caused by war. "1975 was supposed to bring closure, but the long nightmare has continued for many years, along with the feeling that things had been left unfinished." Now, more than 40 years later, it is time to go back, this time to rebuild instead of to destroy. 31 Vietnam veterans or veteran family members returned to the country on April the 1st, not as soldiers, but as builders, with the first ever Vietnam Veterans Bill through the Habitat for Humanity NGO.
Well, this trip began in '09 when I was up near Da Nang with President Jimmy Carter, and I had 5 Vietnamese veterans with me from Michigan. And at the end of the trip, they all came to me and thanked me for this trip and how meaningful it was for them to come back as veterans. And I said at that time, I've got to do this again, only bring more veterans next time.
This program includes a 10-day bill to have 3 families build 3 new houses, complete with water and sanitation facilities. The veterans do all types of work, from carrying soil, sand and bricks, mixing mortar, laying bricks, painting the windows, to plastering the wall and tiling the floor. Dud Hendrick fought in Vietnam in 1966 as a first lieutenant in the Air Force and was an explosive ordnance explosive expert. He was taught how to cut bricks in half and how to do brickwork. Hi, Dud. What are you doing?
Well, I am pretending to be a mason. I'm putting up bricks at this wonderful lady's home, her new residence, for Habitat for Humanity. In order to have some integrity in these walls, you'll see that one important technique is to make sure that you don't have vertical joints falling over one another. It's important to try to maintain, to ensure that your walls are plumb and that they're all in a plane, a single plane.
Mixing mortar was also not the same as back in the home country.
We're putting together sand, concrete, and water to make mortar for the bricks. We've done this the second time today. See how it looks? And this is a small batch. We've learned how to make this.
What is the formula to make this?
This one was 2 wheelbarrows of sand, 1/2 bag of concrete, and about 1 bucket of water. And then sweat, 3 of us. It's not easy. It's hard. But all of us over the past week or so have built up the muscles to enable us to do it.
Is this the first time you've done this kind of work?
Yes. Yeah, I've never built a house like this. I've worked on different kind of construction, but back in the United States, and it's a little bit different. In fact, when this is mixed, it's done by a machine. And people just pour it in, pour it out, and then take it and use it. So, but this is a little bit more direct and personal.
A tedious, repetitive process takes place under the beating sun. But the veterans try to carry on. Although the construction guide and supervisor has years of experience with Habitat, this is the first time he has been assigned to manage such a team.
Bạn xây và một bạn phụ hồ gạch. Cái đoàn này là đa phần là những người lớn tuổi.
This work consists of mostly elderly people. Some say that they used to fight in the American war here a while ago. That may explain why they are devoting their effort into the work, although they are not at the most healthy. So my duty is to allocate the jobs at the site according to their ability. But I must say I highly appreciate their dedication. Whenever they finish their job, they come and ask for more with ceaseless effort. I'm impressed.
Nhưng phải nói khâm phục họ là họ làm rất là nhiệt tình. Khi mà giao công việc họ làm xong thì họ lại quay trở lại mình, họ lại hỏi bây giờ còn công việc nào nữa không để phân công họ làm. Phải nói là đây là cái tinh thần của họ làm rất là tốt.
Of the 31 on the build, 16 served in the country. The rest are family members of war veterans. Mother and son Carol and Ian Wells came here following the wish of a father who used to be a fighter pilot for B-52s back in 1969. He recently died this September.
War veterans' daughter falls.
We just thought this would want us to come back and sort of mend old wounds and do something positive for the Vietnamese people. They've seen so much difficulty in war and fighting that, this is the way we need to move forward.
Jack Devine is the former National Vice President of the Vietnam Veterans of America. He has made several humanitarian trips to Vietnam in an effort to help find missing Vietnamese by using information from Americans who served there during the war. But for this time, it was for a different purpose.
The trips I took over the last 6 years were all for the Veterans Initiative to bring back information on missing Vietnamese. This is totally different because we're not bringing back information, we're bringing back ourselves to connect and work with the Vietnamese, and that makes it different. And in fact, the other veterans who have come have basically said the same thing that I felt, that this would be a way to help heal the wounds of war and to really make a positive connection with Vietnam and particularly the Vietnamese people.
Roger Doyne is a special member of the team. As a victim of Agent Orange, he can speak a word. His Vietnam Veterans Association in Detroit raised money for him to come halfway around the world, hoping that he would find reconciliation. But he wasn't well enough to take part in activities like his peers.
Khi mà sức khỏe của ông yếu rồi đó.
When he fainted due to heat and humidity, we asked him to go to the hospital for a checkup and to stay at the hotel to rest. But he cried. We understand that he came all along here not to rest, but to work with others. His limited health has reduced his contribution, but he yearns to continue.
Lý do sức khỏe nào đó mà ông phải hạn chế mức độ tham gia thì phải nói là ông rơi nước mắt, là ông khóc, ông không muốn là nghỉ ở nhà khi mà các bạn đang làm việc. Thì cái này là coi như cái mà gây cho mình một cái ấn tượng sâu sắc nhất.
We knew how important it was to him personally to come here because he did travel by himself without any assistance. So, yes, so that's a challenge. So that's how important it was to him, and it's just as important to all of us.
Roger served in the army in the 62 Transport, Long Binh Province during 1967-1968. In his silence, he buried a lot of ghosts, but even buried ghosts are still ghosts.
I think we should forget the past and move forward.
As part of the healing process, the American veterans took time to visit a graveyard of Vietnamese martyrs, a demonstration of respect for their former enemy. A visit to Củ Chi Tunnel is novel excursion. For Dick Moyer, an Army airborne, COF 51st Infantry soldier, the world seems just like yesterday. It was time to let it go.
Hard to believe it was 43 years ago that I left here, and I lost some friends here, and we did a lot of fighting here, 2 different times, and so it's emotional, but it's also rewarding. I would not have missed this trip.
For me, we were not exactly invited guests, so I can't expect under the circumstances to be treated like a guest. So I think it was necessary for the Vietnamese people to protect their country, and it is your country. It's not our country.
The war is over. The war is history. We can only move forward, and yeah, we quit the war, but we're going to win the peace. That's the important thing.
Ken Benson, 74, of Green Valley and past president of Habitat for Humanity of Michigan, put together the trip after visiting previously in 2009 with the Jimmy Carter Work Project. Having led Habitat builds in countries around the world, 26-year Habitat employee found this one quite special.
Last summer I began the initiation of this project, and then through the help of a lot of other people around the country, the American Vietnam Veterans Association, we were able to put this together. And it's a new initiative on behalf of Habitat for Humanity to get veterans involved, not only here, but back in the United States.
Habitat for Humanity International is a non-governmental shelter organization. It seeks to eliminate inadequate housing and homelessness by making safe shelter a matter of conscience and action. Since 1976, Habitat has served more than 500,000 families around the world. Habitat for Humanity Vietnam is a part of Habitat for Humanity International and began operation in 2001. To date, Habitat for Humanity Vietnam has served over 8,100 families via a mixture of new houses and water sanitation facilities. The organization aims for a world where everyone has a decent place to live.
Everyone has worked on his or her own home. Everyone has paid for their house full price. Everyone is a homeowner.
One of the 3 homeowners of this veterans bill is Phạm Thị Hồng Thúy, a single parent of 2 daughters, one 14 and one 9. Her husband was killed in an accident, and her house is being built on his family's land, 12 feet wide and 27 feet long.
When I heard the news that they were going to build a house for me and my children, I just couldn't be happier. I'm poor and have to raise 2 children alone. My house nearly collapsed. I'm grateful to have a new house built by the veterans.
For Liu Thị Bông, 78, a Habitat home made of brick with concrete columns and tin roofs is all she wished for in her lifetime, something that she thought would be unobtainable. But now her dreams have come true. How did you feel when you were informed that you were going to have a new house?
I was too happy to sleep. I just wanted to hang around here by day and tidy up things at night. It is overwhelming to see my new house take shape. Even now I can't sleep. Tears keep falling.
Tới bữa nay mà ngủ cũng chưa được nữa. Đêm nào cũng thao thức mà ứa nước mắt rồi.
Over the course of the 10-day bill, the volunteers alongside the Vietnamese families built 3 full houses complete with water and sanitation facilities. The American veterans are really putting back together what they once tore down. Now 10 days of working on site with the local Vietnamese people has resulted in more than just a house. It is the bonding between the two peoples that takes roots from the littlest things like these signatures. As part of the tradition, once finishing the house, the volunteers sign on the columns as the blessing for the new house and its new owners.
It says that this house was built by love by Neil, Gene, Doc, Steve, Dud, Jason, Dick, and this says, may God bless this house. And this is Twee thanking us for caring enough to come over and build her house.
Last time they were over here to destroy. Now we're over here to help rebuild and to help people that are in need. And I think that the people of Vietnam will see the American soldier in a different light because they're going to see them as someone who wants to give back to the people in Vietnam.
That has wrapped up our edition of Expat Living for this week. I hope you have enjoyed the show as much as I did. If you have any comments or suggestions, just send in to our email address as always, expatliving@vtv.vn. Thank you and goodbye for now.